Welcome back, everybody. So glad to join us for this episode. Today we're here with Elias and Josiah. Today we're talking about being in this world, not of it. What does that mean to you guys?
I definitely think it's a tougher conversation point to discuss about, especially from a non-Christian perspective, because obviously that verse is straight out of John 17. But it's more like that perspective of you need to be in this world because we are asked, ultimately we have a purpose on this world. That's why we are here, to give God's message. But it's in also the sense that we're not taking and I'll use, for lack of better words, like the pleasures of this world. You're not seeking greed and everything outside of it. You're more seeking to fulfill the glory of God and stuff like that. Obviously, those come with it. Is like Solomon's a good example where he was given all these things because he followed God. So I think it's more of that perspective of where's your focus on this earth? Are you focusing on earthly things, or are you looking at God?
So you brought up Solomon, which I find interesting because you said he followed God and got good things from it. But also, flip side, you can go to Job, and everything got stripped of him. And I feel like Job wasn't, like, he saw everything that was happening to him, and he still chose to follow God because he didn't take what was in the world and be like, this is all that I have. Like, he realized his family and everything he had worked so hard to get, he was going to have something better in heaven eventually. So, like, he wasn't looking just what he had in this world, but rather what he could get in with Jesus and God. So what about you?
The point that, to build on what your conversation with Job, is that he wasn't living for this world, that he was living for God. And I think that's exactly the big point Josiah was trying to hit. For me, I'm going to agree. It is to not follow the earthly ways of finding riches or the one woman or fame, because that's a big one. People really want the fame these days. And so, yeah, I agree that it's not about what we can get from this world, but what God has to kind of offer and yeah.
But is necessarily achieving, like obviously we all have goals. Is it necessarily a negative thing if one of our goals is getting a little bit of popularity or getting a sustainable amount of money? Like, obviously it can't just be a bad thing.
It depends, in my opinion, it depends on your reasons, really, why.
So, like, your intentions?
Yeah, intentions, yeah. It depends on your intentions. If you want it to just stand good in yourself and to show the world that you are better, then I'm like, let's not go there. But if you do it to show honor to God and share the gospel, then I'll be like more okay with it.
As we've been talking, we've given very textbook Christian Bible answers. Is there ways that we can show, maybe in our own lives or just examples that we've seen in our lives with like our parents or such, of following this principle that we've been talking about?
There is a lot of pressure that push on social media to have it, to need it, to be part of the world that way, where I'm more like, I'll stay away from it. I don't want to share my entire life with the world. I don't want to see what everybody's doing either. There's a lot of negativity out there. I just not a fan of it, and why would I want to follow someone that I don't talk to regularly either? That's how I see it. What I mean though more is, I know somebody that is not a huge fan of social media, but they get kind of pushed into it every so often, and so they keep getting it back and forth. But that's just kind of the world, in my opinion, or her friends or this person's friends is, kind of pushing her in that direction to get it, kind of be part of the world, be part of something cool,
So are you saying that your way of you not being part of this world is kind of like backing away from social media?
Yeah, because if somebody really wanted to get to know me more or talk to me more often, they would find a way. They would, yeah.
But just knowing, you have to, like, you're kind of leading to this concept of, I don't want, like, I don't know how to word this, but, like, you don't want to share what you have with everybody, and you don't particularly want to know everything that's going on with other people unless you explicitly talk to them. But I still feel like you're still in this world if you have social media, or like not of this world. Like, you can have social media and you'll be fine. Like, I have it.
I'm not saying that you should get rid of social media. It's just, for me personally, that's where one of the things in my life where I'm like, I don't need this to be in. To be,
So do you feel
yeah.
like that, but like almost taking you at like, is that like the thing that you see is like taking you apart, like making you that different compared to
do you
everyone
see
else?
that as your separation point,
And
basically?
like, is that
It's-
your only or that your biggest one? at least?
It's definitely my biggest one to separate from the world, because I know that in the past when I had it, I kind of got sucked into that way of life, and I always tried to do the coolest of things to show off my lifestyle and stuff. So for me personally, it's just a
So
way
it's
I
like
get
more egocentric. It's not about because I think there are ways that you can use. Obviously, right now we're using social media as a powerful
I'm
weapon.
sure social media can be used for great things. I'm not against that part. So.
Yeah, I think you're just more worried about because our society is so egocentric and like everything is attached to the individual. It's like I do this because everybody gets jealous of me. They need to see what I do, and I definitely get that perspective. I try to avoid a lot of those people, or I don't follow them to the same extent because I follow different things in social media, and I think it's also another thing with social media is the influence that it has on you, and which you were talking about, because I think that main reason why we started this was to get more of a Christian content in there, because unfortunately, just with how everything is, there's not a lot of Christian content in there, and then when you fill up your day with everything else, it's really hard to follow the principle that we've been talking about, where we're in this world, but we're not of it. So
PJ's was definitely being social media. What about you?
I think ultimately it's always about perspective, like we've already covered lots. Definitely, we got to make sure that our intentions and our perspective is not what my personal gain can be, especially like we covered with social media. It's should we be using, and I think as Christian youth leaders especially, we should be using our social media platform, if you agree with it, and use it as a way to show your Christian perspective on the world. Where
Yeah, to show what kind of Christ kind of offers.
Exactly. Showing love in certain aspects. And I'm not talking like, as I know there's a huge trend and there's tons of memes about it where people are giving stuff to the homeless, but then they're shoving their phone in their face to get that video content. And I don't agree with that. I think that's, again, selfish intentions. And I think, like I said previous, as Christian youth leaders, we should ultimately be showing our youth a way to ground ourselves basically with the Christian perspective, saying that we're not in this world to get pleasures out of it.
We're there to share the gospel.
Yeah, the gospel and the love of God ultimately, that God is our perspective. We're trying to show that God is king for us and that we want to show his love that he's already shown to us.
So looping back to the perspectives, definitely for me is we all see like the video of like people like social media just doing something like a random act of kindness for a homeless person, but having to get a recording of it for like recognition or something. For like, I'd say for the three of us, like we like to separate ourselves from the world. Like we see that as a bad thing because our perspective of being more so like, I guess, out of this world. But like just that's how we see it. And I think that people that are more so in and of this world see that as like, you just want video proof of you doing something good. Like they don't necessarily isn't like a negative. I'm not saying like obviously random act of kindness is a good thing, but needing the recognition is not a very godly like thing to do. Like Jesus never did any acts of kindness just being like, make sure you got that in the Bible, like write it down. Like he never did that once. Like he did his acts to help others. Like just show love.
Yeah, if we do things and then want that recognition afterwards, our motives are wrong. I agree. So if doing things for the right intentions to honor God and not for ourselves is very important.
I just feel like our perspective's definitely changed because we choose to see ourselves in the world but not of it. And
I
that's
think-
why we see it.
And I
as,
think
like,
ultimately it
different.
goes down to, are we loving ourselves or are we loving others as we've been commanded to do? So if you guys want to comment below, because obviously we've talked about this on our perspective, but ultimately we want to hear your guys' opinion. We want to get a little bit more audience input in all of this, because ultimately you guys do help shape this in a certain aspect. So please comment down below ways that you've been able to live in this world but not of it, because we definitely want to hear everybody's perspective.
Hey guys, so welcome to something we're calling the Sweet Debate. So recently we had a talk about in this world, not of it. So we're dealing with chocolate that we want in ourselves, and then chocolate we don't want of ourselves. And we also did a question box night. So there's a big question that's been burning in my heart for all of you guys. What are the top 5 best chocolate bars? So we're gonna go through this, and I want you guys to rate, starting with number 5 and work up to number 1, what the best chocolate is. So Elias, what's your number 5 option?
So my number 5 option is Hershey's Cookie and Cream.
It's good.
My number 5, I'm following the trend, also the Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
My number 5, I should have thought about this more. I'm gonna put Mr. Big there, because Mr. Big is always good, but it's not always the best. I love it though.
I think I'm gonna have to bum off of those guys and go with the Hershey's.
Well,
Do respect it, do respect it. So for my number 4 option is Smarties.
My number 4, I'm kind of torn between Kit Kats and Arrows, but I think I'm going to put Kit Kat for number 4.
nice. Number 4, I think I'm gonna go with the Wunderbar, because it's so.
Is that how you say it,
So
PJ?
It's not.
PJ, tell us how you say Wunderbar.
I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry.
So we'll just say it Wunderbar.
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 It's not the same.
Definitely is. You just can't hear it through a thick English accent.
Yeah.
What is this, number 4?
Yeah, number 4.
Well, it's not the Reese's Pieces. So,
Disgrace.
it's just
Definitely.
reality. Hey, get out of here. It's definitely not the Wonder Bar.
You're making number 4 super dramatic.
It
Yeah.
is.
Wait till we get to number 1.
I love chocolate too
You
much.
hurt me.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Coffee Crisp.
Coffee Crisp is pretty good.
Respectable. For number 4, though, are you sure you want a number 4?
I think I have to. I can't. I'm gonna go Kit Kat.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. That's fine. That's
For
an okay
now.
number 4.
I might change that
So,
again.
entering my top 3, my number 3 choice is O. Henry.
Oh, Henry.
My number
fair.
3 has to be Arrow, which just melts in your mouth. So good.
It's just air, though.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't
definitely-
understand.
It's chocolate.
Yeah, I'm going with Joe. I'm gonna go with an Arrow bar because it's just chocolate, but we're talking about chocolate bars. And you put it in your mouth and it bubbles with joy and it's
There's
just
no
like,
taste.
Yeah, I don't
it
get the
tastes
hype
like
either.
wonderful chocolate. It's
Tastes
way
like
better than
medium
I'm a
quality
disagree.
chocolate.
You have negative taste buds.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, haters. I think I'm gonna go with Mr. Big.
It's very big of
For
you.
number 3?
For
You debated more on number 4 than you did with number 3.
I thought ahead this time.
It was gonna be Coffee Crisp, now it's not even on the table for you.
It's I can't decide. Like,
5, quick. 4, 6 minutes later. 3. Oh yeah, easy.
I'm gonna change my mind again through this. Just watch.
So for my runner-up basically is Coffee Crisp, and it was a tight debate between my number 2 and number 1.
So gross, man. My number 2 has to be the Wonder Bar. So underrated and so good.
It is so good. It's a good call, Joe. I'm gonna throw down Coffee Crisp for my number 2 because every time I have a Coffee Crisp, first of all, I love coffee, so when you put it into a chocolate bar, it's awesome. And anytime I can put it into my mouth, I'm just like, this is a good day. So, Coffee Crisp.
Coffee Crisp is pretty good, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make that number 2.
Nice.
Weird thing is you can't find Coffee Crisp anywhere else besides Canada. It's one
Really?
of those Canadian
Weird
select-
flex.
Yeah, it is a weird flex, but
Just like ketchup chips, but
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
Nobody needs ketchup chips.
they're actually not bad.
I don't.
My
know.
kids love ketchup chips.
Nasty.
They're so good.
Anyways, going back to chocolate. So my number 1, my favorite chocolate, my go-to, if I have the chance, is the Reese Peanut Butter Cup. Love it.
110%. Maybe we're just brothers, but I also agree. So good. Reese's
Chocolate and
Pieces.
peanut butter is a beautiful combination.
Wrong.
For my number 1, I was really debating how far I can throw this Crispy Crunch because I absolutely hate Crispy Crunch. Not worth it at all. I'm gonna be kind of torn between these two things.
Caramel, really.
Caramel is so good because you bite into it and it's like, hey, there's chocolate. Oh, and there's some How do they get the caramel in there?
I honestly can't stand the taste of those
Peanut
anymore.
butter.
I just don't find it the same quality. Like I've had other caramel infused chocolate ones, and those are way better.
Can you just walk into like your gas station and be like, hey, I'll grab one of those, or caramel is always there for you.
But peanut butter.
And right now, if you like get the right one, you can win like $100,000.
That's the only benefit.
right.
But I'm gonna go with
That's how they
Reese's.
just bring you in.
Reese's has always held a special place in my heart, and I love it.
PJ's wrong, whatever he says.
It is true.
See, my number one's technically not on here because Mars Bar wins every
Okay,
time.
Mars bar is great. Snickers
wins
is up
every
there
time.
too.
Snickers is my top.
Nah, it's pushing it though. But anyways, I'm with Ryan. Crispy Crunch, go.
Garbage.
Caramel, nope. Smarties, no. Arrow, nope. And Old Henry is my number one, I guess.
Oh, Henry.
I guess.
Do you want to switch?
Really?
I like the commitment
Number
level.
4 was more debated about than number 1.
The top 3 can be in any order, that's why.
But number 4 can't.
No,
Number 4 is
can't.
that's the critical choice there.
Also, let us know your top 5 chocolate bars. Choose, bring in whatever you want. Just let us know down in the comments. Give us something to talk about.
Now, there's one more thing we got to do. So we voted on all these, but we got to figure out which is actually the best chocolate. So what we're going to do is
Mars.
number 4 is going to get 1 point, all the way up to number 1. Yes, number 4.
Yes.
Number
think
5
so.
gets 1 point. Number 1 gets 5 points. I'm going to stop talking. We'll go figure this out, and we will let you know which bar is the best. Number 1 with 15 points and a lot of tape that didn't work. Reese's Pieces. Beautiful. It deserves it. It definitely deserves it. Number 2, what do we have here? I think we have a Coffee Crisp with 12 points. Number 3. Oh, Henry. 8 points. Number 4. These will both be number 4 because they're both equally awesome, even though PJ doesn't really appreciate them properly.
I don't appreciate Arrow the same way.
Yeah. Number 5. Mr. Big and Kit Kat are also tied. So we're coming up to Halloween. These are the treats that you definitely want to find inside of your Halloween bag if you're going trick-or-treating. If you're not going trick-or-treating, just tell your mom and dad, hey, go to the store, buy one of those big boxes full of all of these. The one thing that did not make it to the table, did not make it even onto the board, is this garbage. If you get this, this is one of those treats that when your parents look through the bag to see if anything's been poisoned, just throw these out. You'll do yourself a favor, you'll do the world a favor. These are garbage. Thanks for joining us. We hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you next time.